What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Yours truly, back again with some more Monster Hunter Generations gameplay, and today we're going to be fighting the Deviljho. Now, for those who don't know, Deviljho actually made his introduction in Monster Hunter Tri. That is the one that came out for the Wii, and in my opinion, still the best Monster Hunter game to come out ever. I know, I'm weird. I like water too, like the underground fighting, underwater fighting. I like that. One of my favorite things about Monster Hunter. Yeah. So anyway. Deviljho, everyone knows Deviljho. He is known as the, not necessarily the end-all, be-all, but everyone fights Deviljho for his equipment. All of his equipment is good, arguably some of the best. It does have Dragon. It just seems, his equipment seemed to get better year over year. Because at first his equipment was kind of hit and miss, and now it's kind of just hit and hit. Before, it would have maybe a negative affinity to it, or possibly the fact that you have to awaken some of its weapons. But his armor was always sought after armor because of the fact that it gave out pretty decent skills overall. On top of the fact that it was very cool looking. But in this game, that is indeed the case once again. Now, I will say this: his weapons are actually a lot better than I originally thought for them to actually be. Like, real talk. Like, when I say that year over year his weapons and everything get better, I really mean that. I mean, like, his armor is that of an interesting type. Like, he has, I think, 3 different sets of armor, because there's technically like 2 different Deviljhos, and like they all have their own thing. You have regular Deviljho, and you have Savage Deviljho. Both Deviljho and Savage Deviljho have different armors. Now they look relatively the same. There'll be a couple of things that'll like differentiate them. Maybe color, or a slight pauldron increase or something like that. But for the most part, the armors relatively look the same, but the skills are different. For this guy, though, they give you the 1-2 punch for his Savage armor. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get too deep into armors and weapons and things like that, let's relegate back to the weakness of this monster. Now, this monster's main weakness is that of either Thunder or Dragon. You can get away with either or. Both damage multipliers for both weapons, or both types, excuse me, are exactly the same. So you can go in here with your Dragon, you go in here with your Thunder, whatever. You might not have Dragon, you might have Dragon. Don't necessarily know. I want to say up until this point, the only Dragon weapons you might come across is either those of Gore Magala, or maybe your weapon is just special. Like, there's a special lance out there that requires no Dragon anything, but it gives Dragon elements. So I mean, there's those special cases. But if you don't have any of these Dragon things, they don't necessarily just come out for free. You should probably have you some Thunder by now. I mean, Zenogre's been fought. Rajang's been... No, we haven't gotten to him yet. Ooh, no we haven't. Next video. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Spoilers. Anyway, going here with some Thunder, some Dragon should be relatively fine. I'm going here with my Thunder Lance because, I love me some Lance, I love me some Thunder, and why not? Once you have that, you should be okay with your weapon choice. I will say, though, that this time around his resistances are a bit different, so you can kind of get away with honestly any weapon type. They'll do somewhat damage to him. He's no longer like free from like ice, because before he had a very strong resistance to that of ice, and I think fire. Not the case this time around. Go in here and slap him with whatever you got. But speaking of the slapping, let's get to the main slap. Okay, now I will say this: I talked about his armor before, right? And I will say that his armor is dope as it is. It's not like the best armor in the game, but you better believe if you pick up this armor, you're gonna be in relatively good hands, because I mean, there isn't very many armor in this. Not many armors in this game are actually gonna be as dope as his. So I mean, if you are at an identity crisis of some sort, and you want some good armor with some 1-2 punch skills, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that of Deviljho stuff, be it either his Savage or his standard variant, because both are actually like exceedingly good when it comes to the abilities. Like, I will honestly say that I didn't expect them to actually have these skills like line up the way they did have them, because it's just kind of weird for them to have it like this. But for your standard Deviljho, you have both Tenderizer and Destroyer, Weakness Exploit, and Part Breaker. What the piss? I mean, what? Like, that's insane. And then when you go to the Savage variant, you have Handicraft and Sharpness, I think? Both of those? I mean, I'm just going off the top of my head here, like, but that's dope. That's kind of OD. and he has a couple of slots in his standard armor, and you can actually outfit, you know, whatever you want in it. I think there's like 5 slots in it, so yo, go crazy, you know what I mean? So with Part Breaker and Weakness Exploit, what else do you want? It'd be great for a hammer user, or maybe even a greatsword user if you have a focus talisman. But yo, that's his armor there. I won't really get into the Savage armor. If you guys really want me to make a Savage Deviljho video, I will. I figure that, you know, most people won't really tangle with Deviljho too much, but you'll see a Deviljho in you know, in your day to day. But if you want me to make a Deviljho video, I will, and it'll be a brief one because it's still the same thing as this Deviljho right here, but you know, a couple of different changes here and there. So if you want it, let me know and I'll make it for you. But moving over from his armor, because it's actually pretty good, his weapons give dragon, and they actually have a really good attack. Now, most other weapons in this game that give dragon, they tend to not give a lot of dragon. This is exceptionally true. I want to say the only monster who actually gives damn good dragon will probably be Gormagala and Alatron, and we haven't got to any of those guys just yet. But the Gormagala weapons, they tend to have low attack. Alatron kind of has low attack as well, but it makes up for that with natural maxed out purple sharpness. I mean, you can't shake a stick at it. I mean, I tried once and it was like, no bro, don't shake your sticks at me. This is all white purple sharp, well, all white, you know, like straight up standard sharpness, you know what I mean? But I mean, with the Deviljho, it's actually not, it's not bad. You do get like 200 attack on the greatsword, which is the one that I remember, the Berserker sword. I remember this off the rip. 200 on the attack, 20 on the dragon, 10 on the affinity. That's a plus affinity multiplier, son. That's plus affinity on Deviljho, which is totally new to like the entire world of everybody. So I mean, yo, if you want to get some Deviljho stuff for some dragon, you totally can. His weapons, they look gnarly. By gnarly, I mean they look really cool. So if you're about that life, go ahead and be about that life and get it. But with that being said, everyone, I want to say that, whoa, almost wrapped it up. Oh, let's not wrap it up just yet. We gotta talk about the way in which we got fights, because it's important. So we talk about the armor, we talk about the weapon, we talk about the weakness. We're running out of time, so let's get hurry up and knock this thing out really quick. Like, see, the Deviljho is a brute wyvern. Brute wyverns tend to actually not have wings, because of brute wyverns. They're like, you know, T-Rexes. I mean, look at the Deviljho. You see his piglet arms. The Deviljho will attack with his mouth. His mouth is his primary means of doing, you know, serious work to you. By his mouth, I mean he'll either bite you with his saliva, and if you get bit with it when he's salivating from his mouth, that'll give you a defense down state. If he hits with that, you're gonna take more damage than you would normally because you have defense down. Now, the saliva bite is just one of those many things. He has a chin sweep where he will just swing his neck round and like 5 or 6 times, depending if he's enraged or not, will be the full length of the entire arena just to come and hit you. This attack does insane damage, and it also will lift you up. Granted though, if you're very lucky, you can actually avoid the attack by being directly underneath his body. Odds of you actually like being there when he's moving is kind of low, but at least the hitbox on it isn't necessarily broken. He still moves when the chin is up in the air, like ever so slightly. That's how you're able to actually dodge it if you're just standing there, because the chin will already be up and out of the hitbox range, and he'll still be moving, and he'll cross over your body. Same thing when he brings the chin back down. He'll move on the way back down with the chin, and then the chin hit the ground, then he'll keep moving on the way back up. It's kind of confusing, but if you are in the situation, you'll understand why you didn't get hit. Okay, from his mouth he shoots dragon. Now, his dragon elements, the dragon breath that he shoots from side to side, he can either advance step and do it, or he can back step and do it. By that I mean he can either step forward or take a step back to do the breath. He only does this when he's enraged. So when he's enraged, that's when you'll know he'll do the dragon breath or not. Very important thing, because he just doesn't do this all the time. He doesn't shoot any other anything with his dragon. That's it. He has a left to right sweep, advancing or what's the advancing or retreating breath, if you will. He also has a mauling attack, which is actually very, very strong. If you get mauled by Deviljho, odds are, if you don't have very good butt mashing skills or dung bombs, you're gonna take either a huge chunk of damage, or maybe it will even result in your death. So if you get mauled by him, bring the dung bombs. You're gonna want to bring the dung bombs, because he tends to maul a lot, not a whole lot. Savage though mauls after everything, but you know, just bring it anyway. You know what I mean? Just bring it anyway, because it's definitely something that you would want to have. Another thing to actually take note of, because I mean honestly there really isn't too many tricks in this guy's bag in terms of attacks. Just the ones that I told you about, the ones you really got to worry about. I forgot that he does have a stomp. His stomp does have tremor, and the hitbox on the stomp is insanely weird. So if you're close to the leg that he's stomping on, you're probably going to get hit by it. It's very weird. It's an overhead, so you'll get hit if you're blocking too close to it. So just, if you see him getting ready for the stomp, just try to get away from it. It does cause tremor though, so watch for that. One thing that is actually very important that I want to mention about the Deviljho for the wrap this video up is that he is susceptible to meats. If you have either poison meat, tinged meat, or sleep meat, he will eat these things. I want to say whether he's salivating from the mouth or not, but he will eat from them if he's salivating from the mouth. Every meat does its desired effect after the first, well, with the first one. After the first one, you're gonna have to actually put down a bit more meat to actually do so, because his tolerances actually increase. But if you want to paralyze him, bring some tinged meat. If you want to poison him, poison meat, sleep him, bring some sleep meat, drugged meat, excuse me. It all works on him. It's a great way to actually sleep bomb him. So get him with the meats and do exceptional damage. But with that being said, everyone, that's pretty much everything I have for you guys when it comes to Deviljho. I'm sorry this video probably wasn't like as good as you probably hoped it to be, but yo, it's a video nonetheless, and it's Deviljho, and I want to say I did help out. Okay, there's some information in there, damn it. But with that being said, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself, and as always, may the desire since forever being your favorite. I will see you on the next video. Take care.